Motivation isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. This is your 30-day invitation to rise, to take control, and to become unstoppable. Every great story starts with a clear why. If you know why you're doing it, no obstacle can break you. The first step is not about perfection, it's about clarity. When your reason is powerful, your actions become unshakable. For the next 30 days, it won't be about waiting to feel ready. It'll be about acting even when you don't. Motivation grows through motion. One small action, every single day, can turn your spark into a wildfire. Remember, intensity may get you started, but consistency will keep you going. It's not about doing everything in one day, it's about doing something every day. When you choose discipline over doubt, you rewrite the story of your life. This journey won't be comfortable. Growth never is. The discomfort you feel is not a sign of weakness. It's proof you're leveling up. Every moment you push through resistance, you build a stronger, sharper version of yourself. Surround yourself with energy that uplifts. Let go of what drains you. Protect your environment like your dreams depend on it, because they do. And when motivation fades, let discipline lead the way. Champions don't rely on feelings, they rely on commitment. 30 days from now, you'll either be in the same place, or you'll look back and see how unstoppable you became. The choice is yours, so I'll ask you again, not softly, but with conviction, are you in? Motivation isn't born from strategy, it's born from meaning. Before any great achievement, there is always a clear and powerful why that fuels the journey. Clarity of purpose is the foundation upon which every lasting goal is built. Without it, actions feel forced, progress feels shallow, and setbacks feel unbearable. But when your why is strong, it becomes the invisible force that keeps you moving forward, even on the toughest days. It's not about having a perfect plan, it's about having a purpose that makes the plan worth fighting for. When people set goals without connecting them to something meaningful, they often lose steam halfway. They get tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. But those who know exactly why they started find strength in places they didn't know existed. Purpose acts as an anchor, holding you steady when storms hit. It reminds you of what matters most, of the vision that pulled you out of your comfort zone in the first place. That kind of clarity is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary persistence. A strong why doesn't just guide your actions, it sharpens your focus. Distractions lose their power when your eyes are locked on something that truly matters. You stop chasing quick wins and start building meaningful momentum. You make decisions not out of fear or doubt, but out of alignment with what you believe in. This is where motivation stops being temporary and becomes unshakable. When your actions are tied to your purpose, discipline feels less like a burden and more like a natural response. Clarity of purpose also creates resilience. Challenges are inevitable. There will be days when nothing goes as planned, when motivation fades and energy runs low. But purpose gives those difficult moments a deeper meaning. Instead of seeing obstacles as reasons to quit, you see them as necessary steps toward something bigger. That shift in perspective changes everything. A strong why doesn't make the path easier, but it makes it worth walking. When your why is clear, your habits align with it. You stop waiting to feel motivated because your commitment is no longer based on emotion, it's based on meaning. This is the quiet strength that separates those who give up from those who keep going. Discipline flows naturally when your actions are connected to something that matters to you at the core. It becomes less about forcing yourself and more about following through on something that defines you. Clarity of purpose also inspires others. People are drawn to those who move with conviction. When they see you walking your path with determination, they feel something powerful. Not because of what you do, but because of why you do it. Your why becomes contagious. It fuels not just your journey, but the energy of everyone around you. And in moments when your own motivation wavers, that shared energy can push you forward again. Purpose turns goals into missions. It turns dreams into responsibilities. It gives weight to your efforts, meaning to your struggles, and power to your discipline. Motivation isn't something that falls into your lap. It's something you create through movement, through action, through showing up even when it's hard. Big transformations don't happen overnight. They are the result of small, consistent steps that build a wave of momentum. A single small win may not seem like much in the moment, but it plants the seed of belief. Every little victory tells your mind, I can do this. And that belief becomes the fuel that drives you forward. When you focus on small wins, you stop feeling overwhelmed by how far you have to go and start gaining energy from how far you've already come. Most people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect burst of energy, or the perfect motivation before they take action. But real momentum begins with a simple choice to act, even if it's a tiny step. When you stack one small action on top of another, something powerful happens. Those little steps create a chain reaction. Progress fuels motivation, motivation fuels more progress, and that cycle builds strength over time. The first win might be as small as waking up earlier, finishing a workout, making a single phone call, or writing a single page, but that one act is the beginning of something much bigger. Small wins also build confidence. When goals feel massive, they can intimidate you into staying stuck. But breaking them down into bite-sized actions makes the journey less threatening and more achievable. Each completed action is proof that you're moving forward. That proof creates belief, and belief creates power. You no longer question whether you can achieve your goal because you're living the evidence one step at a time. This is how mountains are climbed, not in leaps, but in steady, deliberate steps. Momentum doesn't care about how big the action is. It cares about consistency. It doesn't matter if you move slowly. What matters is that you keep moving. A small action repeated daily builds habits, and habits build character. When you win today, no matter how small the win is, tomorrow feels a little easier. Motivation grows from progress, not from perfection. The moment you realize that every step counts, you stop underestimating the power of the small things. Small wins also help silence the inner critic. When doubt whispers that you're not good enough, or that the goal is too far away, every completed action becomes a counterattack. You start to rewrite the story in your head. Each step proves to you that you're capable of more than you thought. That mental shift is what keeps you going when the journey gets tough. And while small wins seem quiet, their impact is loud. They create rhythm, build momentum, and turn hesitation into movement. They don't just move you closer to your goals, they build the foundation for unstoppable motivation. It's not about waiting for a breakthrough. It's about creating it one action, one step, one win at a time. Real change doesn't come from a single burst of energy or a dramatic decision made in a moment of inspiration. Real change is born in the quiet, steady rhythm of consistent action. It's not the massive leaps that shape a life. It's the daily steps that are repeated over and over, even when no one is watching. Intensity can spark movement, but consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds transformation. When you commit to showing up every day, even in small ways, you create a foundation that can't be shaken by excuses, distractions, or setbacks. People often chase intensity because it feels powerful. A big push makes them feel like they're doing something extraordinary, but intensity fades. It's like a flame that burns bright and then disappears. Consistency, however, is like a steady fire that keeps burning. It doesn't need to be dramatic, it just needs to be reliable. Showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not, is what separates those who talk about change from those who actually create it. Consistency builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on your commitment, you send a message to your mind. I can count on me. That self-trust is the root of unshakable confidence. It's easy to get excited on day 1. It's harder to keep going on day 20 when the excitement is gone and the work feels ordinary. But it's in those ordinary moments that your future is quietly being shaped. The daily steps you refuse to skip matter far more than the big moves you make once in a while. Small, repeated actions compound. A little bit of effort every day creates results that no single moment of intensity ever could. Think of how water carves through stone, not with force, but with persistence. Over time, consistent effort breaks through barriers that once seemed impossible. This is why people who stay steady eventually outpace those who only rely on short bursts of passion. Intensity may get you started, but consistency will take you where intensity alone can't. Consistency also makes habits automatic. When you do something every day, it stops feeling like a struggle and starts becoming part of who you are. That's when discipline starts working silently in the background. It's no longer about finding motivation or fighting resistance. It's about following through because that's just what you do. The more you repeat the action, the less effort it takes, and the more progress becomes inevitable. And while intensity seeks quick results, consistency plays the long game. It respects the process, not just the outcome. It understands that true growth isn't built in a moment of glory, but in the hundreds of quiet moments no one sees. Every skipped step is a delay, and every completed step is a brick in the foundation of the future you're building. This is how real change happens, not in a rush, but in a steady rhythm of persistence. Growth doesn't happen in the places where everything feels easy and safe. Growth is forged in discomfort, in the moments when you face resistance and decide to push through it anyway. It's in those moments when excuses sound louder than ever and the temptation to quit is strongest that your mindset is being built. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you send a message to yourself that you are stronger than your limitations. That decision, repeated again and again, creates an unshakable mind. Comfort zones feel good because they are predictable, safe, and familiar. But comfort never changes you. It keeps you exactly where you are. Discomfort, on the other hand, stretches you. It forces you to dig deeper and to face parts of yourself you'd rather avoid and to push beyond what feels possible. That process isn't pleasant, but it's necessary. Muscles only grow when they are challenged, and the same is true for the mind. Every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to level up, to evolve into someone stronger, sharper, and more resilient. The human mind naturally resists discomfort. It seeks the easiest path, the path of least resistance. But the easy path doesn't lead to greatness. When you start leaning into the uncomfortable instead of running from it, you unlock a power most people never experience. You stop letting fear dictate your actions. You stop allowing excuses to shape your story. You begin to understand that discomfort isn't a signal to stop. It's a sign you're on the right path. Every meaningful transformation in life is born out of uncomfortable decisions. Waking up earlier, Pushing through a workout, learning something new, standing up for yourself, taking a risk, staying disciplined when no one is watching. These moments are never comfortable. But each time you choose effort over ease, your mindset gets stronger. You build proof that you can do hard things. That proof creates confidence, and that confidence becomes the foundation for even bigger challenges. Discomfort also reveals your true potential. You don't discover your strength when everything is easy. You discover it when you're tired but still choose to keep going. You discover it when doubt creeps in but you act anyway. You discover it when everything inside you wants to quit but you refuse to give in. Those are the moments that shape your character. The growth zone doesn't announce itself, it hides inside discomfort, waiting for you to step into it. The more you embrace discomfort, the more familiar it becomes. What once felt overwhelming starts to feel like a normal part of progress. You build a kind of mental armor that makes you unstoppable. You stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth. The things that once scared you lose their power because you face them head on. Discomfort no longer feels like a threat. It becomes a sign that you are exactly where you need to be. The environment you place yourself in is not neutral. It shapes your energy, your mindset, and your drive more than most people realize. Every conversation, every space, every influence around you either feeds your fire or quietly puts it out. Motivation doesn't just come from within. It grows stronger or weaker depending on what surrounds it. If you are constantly in an environment filled with negativity, doubt, and distractions, it becomes harder to stay focused, harder to dream bigger, and harder to push yourself beyond your limits. But when you surround yourself with energy that fuels your ambition, everything changes. People often underestimate the power of proximity. The attitudes, habits, and beliefs of the people you spend time with slowly become part of your own thinking. When you're around people who settle for less, it becomes easier to lower your own standards. But when you surround yourself with people who aim higher, who challenge you, who believe in growth, their energy starts to elevate yours. That shift can change the way you think, act, and show up in your daily life. Your environment sets the tone for your mindset, and your mindset determines how far you go. A strong environment doesn't just support your goals, it protects them. Distractions are everywhere. Doubt can creep in silently. One negative influence can drain more energy than 10 positive steps can build. But when you're surrounded by a space that reflects your vision, you create a shield around your purpose. It becomes harder for negativity to take root. The energy around you starts to push you forward, even when your own motivation wavers. This is why choosing your environment with intention is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Your environment is not just made up of people. It's also the places you spend time in, the content you consume, and the habits you repeat. A cluttered space can create a cluttered mind. A negative online feed can slowly poison your mindset. But a space designed with clarity, focus, and inspiration can keep your energy high and your drive alive. What you allow into your daily environment shapes the way you think and act more than you may realize. Being intentional with your environment means being unafraid to make changes. Sometimes it means distancing yourself from people who drain your energy, even if they've been part of your life for a long time. Sometimes it means creating new habits, building new routines, or finding communities that align with your vision. It means surrounding yourself with conversations that lift you, with people who inspire action, with spaces that remind you of your goals. When your environment matches your ambition, discipline feels easier and motivation lasts longer. You stop fighting against the current and start flowing with it. The energy around you starts to multiply your efforts instead of working against them. Your environment becomes a silent partner in your success, pushing you forward, amplifying your focus, and fueling the fire inside you. Motivation can spark action, but it's discipline that sustains it. Motivation is like the wind. It can push you forward when it's strong, but it can also disappear without warning. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the engine of a ship. It keeps moving even when the wind dies down. You don't need to feel motivated every single day because real progress isn't built on emotion. It's built on the commitment to keep showing up, no matter how you feel. Discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady when motivation wavers. There will be days when your energy is high, when your goals feel exciting, and when everything seems possible. On those days, motivation feels natural. But there will also be days when doubt creeps in, when you're tired, uninspired, or overwhelmed. If you rely only on motivation, those days will break your rhythm. Discipline is what bridges the gap between feeling inspired and staying consistent. It's the voice that says, "I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway." That's where true strength is built. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about commitment. It doesn't demand that you do everything flawlessly. It only demands that you don't quit. When you show up day after day, even when it's uncomfortable, your actions become habits. Habits become part of your identity. And once something becomes part of who you are, it no longer depends on motivation to keep going. That's why disciplined people seem unshakable. Their progress isn't controlled by emotion, it's guided by decision. When discipline becomes your foundation, setbacks lose their power. Missing a perfect day doesn't mean you've failed, it means you have another chance tomorrow. Discipline allows you to keep moving forward even when progress feels invisible. Those small, steady steps compound over time. They build momentum that doesn't disappear when motivation fades. You begin to realize that it's not the big bursts of energy that change your life, it's the steady rhythm of showing up again and again. Discipline also builds self-respect. Every time you follow through on your word, you strengthen the trust you have in yourself. That trust becomes unshakable confidence. You stop waiting for the right moment because you understand that progress doesn't need permission from your emotions. You simply do the work regardless of how you feel. This is what separates dreamers from doers. Not who is more motivated, but who is more disciplined. When you live with discipline, the pressure to feel motivated every day disappears. You no longer need external inspiration to take action because your commitment runs deeper than your mood. It's the quiet power that turns goals into results. Discipline is not glamorous, but it is unstoppable. It's the force that keeps you walking the path when others stop. It's the strength that carries you through the days when motivation isn't enough. It's the reason ordinary actions, repeated consistently, create extraordinary outcomes.